So this is my podcast sessions or my podcast documentations. So within these documentations, I think I'm going to try to get a bit of understanding of what's happening on new technologies, even old technologies, my review, and with everything that I do, just try to get the truth of it, the fundamentals of it. So these are my thoughts on, I think this new, it's not even new, but this machine learning stuff. So I think so AI, particularly Chat GPT, I think it's often viewed with fear and uncertainty in mainstream society. I think this is understandable, as many people see AI through the lens of Hollywood portrayals. I think one example would be the Terminator. However, I think it's important to understand that AI is not inherently harmful. AI, in a sense, just represents the people that create it. And I think it's important to also look at the people that create it. I think we overlook that, right? So with with this ChatGPT, it has an essence of people from the internet, if I can put it that way. So with most of its response, you are getting popular responses. You know what I mean? So I'm saying that AI is not inherently harmful, but rather a filter for intelligence that can increase productivity. So I think one of the ways that I see AI, or I have a comparison of it, is like you see with the Snapchat filter, right? It can make you look more beautiful, and I think that's what artificial intelligence does, but it does it for the mind. So I believe that. So yeah, so increased productivity. So while there is concerns about AI taking jobs, so as a software developer, I believe that AI will initially help programmers, but in the long run, it will reduce the demand for programmers and make programming much easier. So, however, it's important to note that programming is not just about writing code, but also about ideas and exchange of ideas. I think so. Coming from a developer background, I could have bias on the say, or I could have some insight. Either way, that will be determined by time. The validity of it will be determined by time. So I think from a sense of just kind of like my understanding about software, right? So software in its fundamental, it's about ideas. And then throughout the bigger sense, right, the world is much more complex. So it's much more harder to take your ideas out. I think that's why you need ideas from certain people. And I feel like that's kind of like the pitfalls or the downfalls of ChatGPT at the moment. It's just that it's created for one person, and you can't create software as just a person, because you're going to need to take your ideas out, give it to people, right? And then get feedback from that and then change upon that idea. So, from a technical sense, I think it's kind of limited from a point of it can't interact with the internet. It is the internet, but it can't interact with the current internet per se. You can't create sort of like a repository where you interchange your ideas, where you implement CI/CD methods. So that is for continuous integration and continuous deployment. You know what I mean? So I think at the current moment, that's kind of like its downfall. But the moment it gets to that level, I think that's where we're going to see the fruitfulness of it. You know, like the seed coming out. I think, and another sense is that like as programmers, we often fall into the trap of emphasizing tools and processes over the outcome. So in reality, what truly matters is the ability to come up with original and creative ideas and execute them effectively. I think as we move forward, as we move forward, it will be this focus on ideas and execution that will set individuals and organizations apart in the field of AI and technology. So it's important to remember that the development of AI and technologies like ChatGPT are not something to be feared, but rather embraced as an opportunity for growth and progress. The advancement of AI can open up new opportunity for individuals and organizations. And it is important for us as programmers and developers to adapt and evolve with these changes. I think as we continue to become more integrated, as AI continues to become more integrated in our daily lives and work, it's crucial for us to shift our focus from just tools and processes to a bigger picture of problem solving and innovation by embracing this change and focus on original and creative ideas so we can pave the way for a brighter future where AI can be used to improve our lives and make a world a better place. So I think, yeah, I think one example that I had coming into this, let's say, culture of technology, or of like web development or software development, is that there was a lot of emphasis on the tools, right? I think people will mostly focus on the tools. It's like, oh, you need to have C++, you need to have Python. And I think that's where most of this fear is coming from, is that as programmers, we define ourselves based on these programming languages. Because of where we look for jobs, it's a requirement, right? And most of the people that post these jobs, they do not know what it entails, or they only have a limited view of what entails in the creation of these applications. They just know that these applications are created by certain types of software, right? But technology is more wider than that. So with technology, I think as we go forward, we get to see that you do not have to have only just this particular set of skills. You can create a product with different set of skills. You know what I mean? So yeah, and I think in the programming world or in the software development world, we kind of fall into that trap of defining ourselves within the tools, and tools come and go, right? I think in other fields, right, there's not a lot of emphasis on the tools. There's a lot of emphasis on the outcome, right? On the things that they create. For example, an architecture would be like, yeah, I'm the greatest AutoCAD designer. Like, look at all my AutoCAD designs, right? So in an ultimate sense, all those AutoCAD designs don't mean jack for the real world. You know what I mean? So I think as programmers, we kind of lived in this hollow of focusing on tools. And I think this is going to make a shift because the tools are becoming much more easier to use. And